Jai Hind Future Warriors. I am Shrikant Ghodke bringing you the lectures on Indian polity, the basics of Indian polity. Let's see what we are gonna learn today. Today we'll be learning about what is government, the parliamentary, the presidential, the forms of government, the making of Indian constitution, that is the background of Indian constitution or the history of Indian constitution, and also about the unitary government and the federal government. It is just the expansion of parliamentary government and presidential government, which comes under the types of governments. Okay, and we'll also see the borrowed features. What are the borrowed features? From where did India adopt certain, what do you say, features of Indian constitution, like democracy or the supreme commander of armed forces or the legislative powers. Okay, we'll discuss all of this, right? So before going into the subject, let's clear our basics of Indian polity. Let's discuss what is polity about. What is the meaning of polity? What do you understand by polity? Polity, it is all about the process of government. Okay, the process of which the government is formed, how it functions. Okay, all of this, it comes under polity. Okay, now when you hear the term polity, another term strikes your mind, that is politics. Polity and politics are two different terms. Polity is a subject, okay, and politics is a duty. Everyone is well aware what is politics all about. Alright, now this idea of politics, it is different for different people. Getting my point? For some people, politics is all about scams. For some people, politics is all about power. But for some people, politics is all about serving people. Okay, understand the difference between polity and politics. Polity is a subject, okay, whereas politics is a duty. Getting my point? Yes. So, this crux of politics, which is a duty, this crux can be brought out in the form of government. Okay, so before starting the government, let's discuss why do we need to study polity basically. Okay, now see, polity, it is important for two things. One is obviously for exam, and the second thing is for life. Each and every individual should be aware of what are his fundamental rights, what are his fundamental duties, what are articles laid down in our Indian constitution. Like, okay, now everyone knows politics. When it comes about polity, everyone knows what are parts, what are schedules, what are articles. Okay, getting my point? We'll cover all of this, but today in this lecture we'll revise our basics, we'll clear our basics. Okay, we'll learn what polity is all about, then we'll go to the constitution. Okay, then we'll see what are the basics of our Indian constitution, we'll see what is government, we'll see what are the different forms of government, and then we'll study about the history of Indian constitution. Okay, we'll also see the various systems that are laid down in our government. Okay, yes, as I already told you, polity, it is important for two things. One is for exam and the second one is for life. Okay, now when you study polity, you will get deeper insights, okay, into your fundamental rights. You will get deeper insights into the basic structure of Indian constitution. You will understand your duties being a citizen of India. Okay, also you will understand about the functioning of the government. Okay, how the decisions are made, like for example how the elections are held, how the assemblies function. Okay, and what are their duties. We'll cover all of this first and then we'll get into the subject. Okay, so I already told you the difference between polity and politics. Okay, the crux of politics, it can be brought out in the form of governance. Governance, which means it can be brought out in the form of a government. Okay, now this, you all know what is government. Group of people constituted to work for the development of the country. Okay, that particular group of people is known as government. Alright, now this government, yes, just a minute. This government, it is based on three important pillars. The first one is legislative, the second one is executive, and the third one is judicial. Okay, these three bodies form up a government. Okay, based on these three bodies only, the government will function. Okay, the government will function properly. Okay, let's discuss one by one what is legislative, what is executive, and what is judiciary. Okay, we'll first discuss what is legislative. Legislative is a body which makes the law. Okay, legislative is the body which makes the law. Now, this legislature or legislative, it is divided into two parts. One is union legislature, and the second one is state legislature. One is union, and the second one is state. Okay. One is union and the second one is state. Now, this union, don't get confused when I use some political terms such as union. Union, it simply means that center. Okay. Union, what is union all about? Union, this union. Okay, union, it simply means center, union legislature and the state legislature. Okay, union is the legislature which is present at the center level, and state for each and every individual state. Okay, now see, this parliament, this union legislature, it is further divided into parts, that is the parliament. Okay, now this parliament, it comprises of the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha is nothing but the house of people, and Rajya Sabha is nothing but the council of state. Okay, in Lok Sabha, people's representatives are present, and in Rajya Sabha, representatives of state are present. Okay, I hope everyone knows the difference. And in state legislature is also divided into two types here. One is state legislative assembly, and the second one is state legislative council. Okay, this state legislative assembly and state legislative council comes under state legislature. Okay, what is state legislative assembly? Okay, state legislative assembly, it is similar to that of Lok Sabha, but it is at the state level. Okay, and the state legislative council is similar to that of Rajya Sabha, but it is also at the state level. Here I am talking about the bicameral legislature. Getting my point? Here we are purely discussing about bicameral legislature. In union legislature, now we are discussing about bicameral legislature. Bicameral legislature, it means that any state that has both state legislative assembly and state legislative council is known as a bicameral state. Okay. Now, in state legislative assembly, you will find MLAs, member of legislative assemblies. Okay, and in state legislative council, you will find MLCs, member of legislative councils. The difference is simple. State legislative assembly is a place, okay, where you will find MLAs, and state legislative council is a place where you will find MLCs. This is the basic difference. Okay, I hope you all are clear with the legislative. Legislative is a body which makes the law. Okay, parliament comprises of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha is house of people, Rajya Sabha is house of state or council of states. And in state legislature, it is further divided into two parts. One is state legislative assembly and the second one is state legislative council. Okay, this is all about legislative, the body which makes the law. Okay, moving forward to the second one, to the second pillar on which government is formed. The second pillar, it is also known as the executive. Okay, second pillar, it is known as executive. Right, so let's discuss what is executive. Just like legislative, even executive is divided into two parts. One is union executive and the second one is state executive. What is union executive? Executive that is present at the center level. And what is state executive? Executive for each and every individual state. Okay. Now this executive is a body which enforces the law. Right. Earlier when we were discussing legislature, we saw legislature is a body which makes the law. Okay. Now this executive is a body which enforces the law. Getting my point? Executive is a body which enforces the law. Let's discuss what is executive all about. Executive is also divided into two parts. Union executive, okay, union executive, and the second one is state executive. Union and state. Okay. Now this union executive, it is further divided into two parts. Okay. What is it? The first one is nominal executive, and the second one is real executive. Okay, similarly, state executive is also divided into two parts, nominal executive and the real executive. Okay, nominal and real. Okay, now in union executive, the nominal head or the nominal executive will be the president. Okay, president is also known as the first citizen of our country. President will be the nominal head. Okay, and who will be the real head? Real head will be the prime minister along with council of ministers. Okay, why along with council of ministers? Prime minister alone, he cannot govern the country, right? Obviously he'll need people, right? People like whom? Ministers. Council of ministers indicates what do you understand by council of ministers? Council of ministers simply means that defense ministry, ministry of external affairs, okay, finance ministry, transport ministry, road ministry, the state ministers, all of this, it comes under council of ministers. In simple terms, the cabinet ministers, okay, they are known as council of ministers. Okay, for union executive, nominal executive or the nominal head will be the president, and the real executive or the real head will be the prime minister along with council of ministers. Okay, and when it comes to state executive, the nominal executive will be the governor, who happens to be the president's body. Okay, governor is a president's body in each and every state. Okay, and the real executive or the real head for state executive will be the chief minister along with council of ministers. Okay, now you'll get it out that what does council of minister mean in state executive. Okay, council of ministers simply mean in state executive means the deputy minister. Okay, the deputy minister, like chief minister के नीचे जो आएगा, he is known as deputy minister. The state ministers, and also state will be having agriculture ministry, not finance, transportation ministry, roads ministry. All of this, it comes under real executive. Okay, executive is a body which enforces the law. Okay, earlier I told you about bicameral legislature. Bicameral legislature means a state which has both legislative council and state legislative assembly. Okay, now who are MLAs and who are MLCs? Who are MLAs and who are MLCs? Legislative assembly, which comprises of MLAs, they consist group of representatives. Okay, and legislative council consists of group of people who are constituted to work for the development, but at the state level. Getting my point? In bicameral legislature, okay, which has both, right, which has both legislative assembly, okay, and legislative council. Any state that has both legislative assembly and legislative council, that particular state is known as a bicameral state. Okay, that particular state follows bicameral legislature. Okay, you can write down it in the comment box which states follow bicameral legislature and which states follow unicameral legislature. Unicameral legislature, it means simple, okay, which has only state legislative assembly. Okay, clear? This is all about legislative, a body which, which makes the law, and executive is all about a body which enforces the law. Okay, now you might also get a doubt that in legislative as well as in executive, we have only seen about union executive and state executive. Okay, union for the center level and state for the each and every individual state. Now you people might also get a doubt that what about union territories? Okay, just now we discussed the real head for the state executive will be the chief minister. Okay, and what about union territories? We have discussed about center, we have discussed about state. What about union territories? Okay, first let's understand what are union territories and why are union territories formed. Why do we have union territories? Besides center and state, why do we have union territories? Okay, basically union territories are those territories which were politically or administratively weak, or financially weak during the time of independence. Okay, during the time of independence, if any territory was politically, financially or administratively weak, then that particular territory was was made into a union territory. Instead of making it a state, they made into a union territory. Okay. Now, in union territories, chief minister, that is the real head, won't be there. For real, for union territories, uh, real head will not be present. There will only be the nominal executive or the nominal head, who happens to be the lieutenant governor. Okay, in each and every union territory, there is only lieutenant governor, there is only nominal head. Okay, all these union territories, they are directly governed by the center. Okay, center, center passes rules and regulations, center makes laws for the union territories. Okay, now you might also get a doubt that Delhi is a union territory, but Delhi has chief minister, honorable chief minister Shri Arvind Kejriwal. Okay, Pondicherry is also a union territory. Pondicherry also has chief minister. Okay, now only Pondicherry and Delhi are two union territories which get special representation in the Rajya Sabha. Okay, see, I'll tell you the reason. The reason is simple. Okay, Delhi is the capital of our country. Okay, and Pondicherry is a territory which was not part of India even after independence. Pondicherry, it became an integral part of India in the year 1962. Okay, the Treaty of Secession, it was ratified in the year 1962, though the proposal for to give away Pondicherry, to include Pondicherry in Union of India, it was made in the year 1956, but it was accepted in the year 1962 by the French government. Okay, that besides that, what I want to say is Pondicherry and Delhi are two union territories which have nominal head as well as the real head. Okay, why do they have nominal and real head? Pondicherry was not a part of India. Okay, it was later in the year 1962, Pondicherry was included in Union of India. So in order to serve people properly, okay, the then government decided to make Pondicherry a union territory, not a state. Okay, because it was politically weak, it was financially weak, and it was administratively weak. But when it comes to Delhi, you might feel that Delhi is not financially weak or Delhi is not administratively weak. Delhi is purely a union territory because it is the capital of our country. Okay, we all know what all happens, okay, during elections, like one party stabs another party. They earlier promised to form an alliance, but after the results, okay, take Maharashtra elections for example. What happened? Today there is three-party alliance in Maharashtra that consists of Shiv Sena, the National Congress Party, and the INC, Indian National Congress. Okay, in order to avoid political disturbances, union territories are made. Okay, write down in the chat box how many states do we have and how many union territories do we have. Okay, this is the reason. Okay, union territories are there. Okay, besides Delhi and Pondicherry, every other union territory, they have only nominal executive who is lieutenant governor. Delhi and Pondicherry, they have special representation in Rajya Sabha. Okay, that's the reason Delhi has lieutenant governor and chief minister, and even Pondicherry has lieutenant governor and chief minister. Okay, this is all about executive. Moving forward to the third pillar on which government is formed, it is known as judiciary. It is known as judiciary. What is judiciary? What is the role of judiciary? Judiciary is a body which serves justice according to the law made by legislative and according to the law enforced by the executive. Okay, this is the role of judiciary. This is the role of judiciary. Okay, now see, judiciary, it is one of the most important body. The judiciary, it will make sure that all the laws are protected so that the executive or the legislative do not overstep their boundaries. Okay, all the laws that are made in the legislative and all the laws that are enforced in the executive, they need to be protected and they need to be within the limits of Indian Constitution. Okay, so the role of judiciary is to keep an eye on legislative and to keep an eye on executive. In short, to serve justice. Judiciary is a body which provides justice according to the law. Okay, according to the law made by legislative and according to the law enforced by the executive. This is all about judiciary. Okay. Now let's discuss what is, yes, before moving forward to another topic, there are types of courts. Judiciary, it simply means that courts. Okay, when you hear the term judiciary, the first thing that strikes your mind is all about court. Alright, there are three types of courts. Supreme Court is at the center level. Supreme Court is at the center level. Yes, Supreme Court at the center level. High Court for each and every individual state, and local or district court for each and every district. Okay, these are the types of court. And some newly formed high courts are Manipur, Meghalaya and Tripura. Please note it down, questions might come from this area. Okay, this is all about judiciary. If you know any other high courts that are recently formed from the year 2010 to 2020, please write it down in the chat box. Right, this is all about judiciary. Okay, now the next thing which we'll be discussing is constitution. Okay, I hope legislative, executive and judiciary, these three topics are clear. Based on these three pillars only, the government will form, the government of any country will function. Legislative, executive and the judiciary. Okay, now let's discuss what is constitution. Okay, the constitution, it is nothing but a basic law. The basic law on which the government of any nation works is known as constitution. Okay, constitution is nothing but a basic law. Alright, now in democracy, what is the role of constitution in what is the role of constitution in a democratic country or in democracy? Okay, the constitution, it makes sure that the government, it does not misuse their power. Okay, the government, the legislative and executive, they hold certain powers, they have certain powers, they have certain immunities. Okay, they have certain exceptions under Article 14 also. Like, what is Article 14? Equality before law and equal protection before law. Okay, for these exceptions are president, governor, diplomats, bureaucrats. Okay, all of these are, they enjoy, the people, this government, the governor, the president, bureaucrats, diplomats, they enjoy certain immunities. Okay, because they hold some higher post. Okay, fine, let's not get there. What I want to say is, in a democratic country, constitution plays a very important role. The constitution, it makes sure that the government, it does not misuse their power. Okay, and judiciary, it simply makes sure that all of this is maintained. All of this, it is maintained well. Okay, this is the role of judiciary. We have seen, we have discussed legislative, the body which makes the law. We have seen executive, the body which enforces the law. And we have seen judiciary, the body which provides justice according to the law made. Okay, and we have also discussed what is constitution. Okay, moving forward, let's discuss what are the types of government. Okay, we'll see what are the types of government. Yes, there are two types of governments basically. One is parliamentary government and the second one is presidential government. Parliamentary and presidential. Okay, this parliamentary government, it is also known as federal or dual government. Okay, and also this presidential government, it is also known as unitary government. Right, this is all about the types of governments. Let's discuss what is parliamentary government. Okay, let's discuss what is presidential government. Right, so parliamentary government is nothing but the government which includes both center and state. Okay, here I have shown you one diagram, just a second. Okay, yes, see, so suppose this triangle is a country. Okay, I am explaining you what is a parliamentary government and what is presidential government. Okay, assume this triangle as a country. Okay, now every country has central government, right? Central government, state government and also the local government. Okay, okay, every country has central, state and the local government. What happens in parliamentary government is, It includes both center government and the state government. Okay, in parliamentary government, the state and local bodies, okay, they are independent to take their own decisions. Okay, they are independent to take their own decisions in parliamentary type of government. Like if the state want to make any separate laws, the state can make any separate laws for its state. Okay, if the local bodies want to make any certain laws, the local bodies can also make certain laws. Okay, they are independent. Okay, this happens in parliamentary government or in federal government. Getting my point? But what is presidential government or what is unitary government? See, what happens in presidential or unitary government is, in presidential or unitary government, see here, same again, assume this triangle as a country. In presidential government, the central government, state government, or the local government. Okay, okay. In this type of system, in unitary type of system, all the powers, they are kept within the central government. Okay, they are kept within the central government. Whatever powers are there, they are kept within the central government. It simply means that the state government and the local government, they are not independent. Suppose if the state government want to make any certain laws, then it has to consult whom? The central government. If the local government want to make any certain laws, then also it has to consult what? It has to consult the central government. This happens in unitary government or in presidential government. Presidential, which means that president. Okay, president will rule the country, not prime minister. In parliamentary or in federal type of government, what will happen? There is distribution of powers between central government, state government, and local government. This is all about parliamentary government, okay, which is also known as federal government, and presidential government, which is also known as unitary government. Okay, understand this figure, you will get the idea. Okay, the examples for parliamentary government are India, Canada, Australia, or Britain. Okay, and the examples for presidential government are United States of America, okay, USA, then the Brazil, then the Mexico. Okay, if you have any more examples, please write it down in the comment box. Okay, this is all about the parliamentary government, which is known as federal government, and presidential government, which is known as unitary government. Okay, and also please note a point that the term federal term, it is nowhere written in our Indian constitution. The term federal, it is nowhere written in our Indian constitution. Don't refer parliamentary government as federal government. Okay, instead you can use dual government. Okay, now this dual government, it simply comprises of what? Dual government comprises of national government, which means the state, which means the center, and on the other hand the state government. Okay, this is all about the types of governments. Okay, now moving forward, let's discuss how is our Indian constitution, what is the nature of Indian constitution. Okay, if you refer article 1 of our Indian constitution, you will see the political definition as India, that is Bharat, shall forever remain union of states. Okay, this is article 1 of our Indian constitution. We will discuss some silent features of our Indian constitution. Okay, Indian constitution, it is a written constitution, the first thing which you need to note down. Okay, and we have independent judiciary. Judiciary is not bound by anyone. The government cannot interfere in judicial matters. Okay, and we have the idea of dual government. Okay, we have already discussed what is dual government, which includes both center and the state. Okay, and India also follows bicameral legislature. Okay, states like Maharashtra, Karnataka, okay, they have both, they follow bicameral legislature. Bicameral legislature means what? That particular states, they have both state legislative assembly and state legislative council. Okay, these are some features of Indian constitution. We have independent judiciary, ours is a written constitution, and we have bicameral legislature, as well as we follow dual governance. Okay, this is all about Indian constitution. Okay, now let's discuss the history of Indian Constitution. In short, the background, from where did we adopt, what are some important acts which were passed, okay, in the history of Indian Constitution. Okay, let's start with the first important act. I'll be covering only important acts here. Okay, the first important act is the Government of India Act of 1858. Okay, what happened in this Government of India Act 1858 is, this act was introduced, okay, to create a office of viceroy. Okay, according to Government of India Act 1858, the office of viceroy was created. Okay, and who was the first viceroy of India? Lord Canning. Lord Canning was the first viceroy of India. Okay, and also due to this act, equal status was provided to princely states. Okay, according to Government of India Act 1858, office of viceroy was set up and equal status was given to each and every princely states. Okay, and the next one is the Government of India Act of 1861. What is Government of India Act 1861? Okay, this happened during the tenure of first viceroy only. First viceroy in the sense Lord Canning. This happened during his tenure only. Okay, according to Government of India Act of 1861, okay, legislative councils were bought. Okay, this act introduced legislative councils. Okay, and this act also started the cabinet system. Okay, this act, according to this act only, certain posts were invited. Like what all comes under cabinet system? We have discussed, right? Who are cabinet ministers? The transportation, the roads, Ministry of External Affairs. So ministers back then in India, okay, this act introduced the cabinet ministers, the cabinet system, the Government of India Act of 1861. Okay, then next comes in the timeline. Okay, the next one is Government of India Act of 1935. But before going to Government of India Act of 1935, there is a little history which you all need to be aware of. Okay, what happened in 1895 was Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Okay, everyone might be aware of this person, Bal Gangadhar Tilak. He demanded Constituent Assembly for Indians. Okay, if someone asks who put up the idea of independent Constituent Assembly for Indians, then the answer is Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and this happened in the year 1895. Okay, right after 1895, the war for independent constitution, the war for independent Indian constitution was started. Okay, and this demand for Constituent Assembly, it was accepted by the Britishers in the August offer. Okay, August offer में ये accept हुआ था, and August offer it is in the year 1940. Note down, August offer was in the year 1940. Mind my writing, I'm sorry. It happened in the year 1940, August offer. Okay, what is August offer? According to August offer, what happened? Dominant status was provided to India. Dominant status was given to India. Okay, and besides this dominant status, besides this equal status, Constituent Assembly was set up. Not set up actually, it was accepted. Okay, in the year 1940. Okay, see, the struggle for Indian independent Indian constitution, it started long ago from the year 1895. Okay, then next in the timeline comes the Lahore session of India, that happened in 1929. Okay, the Lahore session of 1929, it demanded Purna Swaraj. Okay, Purna Swaraj means the complete independence. Okay, this is all about the Lahore session of 1929. Okay, then next comes the Government of India Act of 1935. Okay, according to this Government of India Act 1935, what happened? Reserve Bank of India was set up. Note this point, it is very important. According to Government of India Act of 1935, Reserve Bank of India was set up. Right, now, yes. Now we are discussing the background of Indian Constitution. What was the struggle? Which acts were the important ones? Okay, yes. So what happened was, see, the cabinet mission. Yes. So what happened next is the cabinet mission of 1946. What is this cabinet mission? In this cabinet mission only, the Constituent Assembly, it was formed. Okay, Constituent Assembly was formed purely on the basis of cabinet mission, which happened on 1946. Okay, and the first meeting of Indian Constituent Assembly, it was held on 9th December 1946. Okay, and Dr. Sachidananda Sinha was the temporary chairman. Okay, yes, and next thing is on 11th December 1946, right after 2 days, Rajendra Prasad was made as the permanent president of Constituent Assembly. Okay, and later on 15th August 1947, India got independence, we Indians got independence. Okay, and then what happened right after we got independence on 15th August 1947. Then later on 29th December 1947, what happened? Drafting committee was set up. Okay, on 29th December 1947, drafting committee was set up. Okay, what was the role of this drafting committee? The role of this drafting committee was to draft. Okay, was to draft our Indian constitution. Okay, and this drafting committee, it was headed, or it was under the chairmanship of a very famous personality who is known as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay, when we discuss polity, when we discuss about reservations or anything, the first picture that strikes our head is about that person is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay, and later on 26th November 1949, the constitution was adopted, but it was enforced throughout the country on 26th January 1950. On 26th January 1950, the constitution was enforced. Okay, yes. And the next thing, we have discussed the bodies, the types of government. Okay, we have discussed the history, the background of Indian constitution. Now let's discuss what is preamble. Okay, preamble, it is nothing but the base of Indian constitution. Okay, Indian constitution is nothing but a basic law, and preamble is nothing but the base of Indian constitution. Okay, preamble, it tells us the importance of Indian constitution. Okay, now there are certain capsules or important points which you note down about preamble, which preamble explains us. Okay, the first important point is that India does not have any religion. India does not have any religion. The second one is Indian government will not interfere in any religious matters. Third one is every person has liberty, faith of worship, liberty and faith of worship, and the right to freedom of religion. These are few important things which preamble explains. Okay, yes. So there is a little bit of history which you need to know when it comes about preamble. Okay, see, the parliament, it can amend the preamble, but it cannot amend the basic structure of preamble or the basic structure of constitution. Okay, see, for example, what happened in 1973? There was a Keshavananda Bharati case. Okay, in this Keshavananda Bharati case of 1973, the Supreme Court, through its beauty of delivering verdicts, through its judicial powers, it explained that preamble is a part of Indian constitution. Till 1973, preamble was not considered as the basic part of Indian constitution, but after this Keshavananda Bharati case, preamble was declared as a part of Indian constitution. Okay, now there are few features which you need to know about preamble or about the Indian constitution. Okay, everyone might be aware of terms such as democracy, okay, the liberty, okay, equality, justice. Okay, all of this are some features of Indian preamble or of Indian constitution. Okay, see, what is democracy all about? Democracy is not simply to the people, by the people, for the people. Democracy, it simply means that the final authority to vote will lie within the people, with the people of India. The final authority to vote will lie with the people of India, which means we, the people of India, we will elect leaders who will then form a government. Okay, this is what you need to understand by democracy. Okay, and what is liberty? Liberty means the speech and expression, the belief, the faith of worship. All of this it comes under liberty. Okay, justice you all know what is justice, you all know what is judiciary. Okay, the body which serves justice according to the law made. Okay, yes. The next thing is the borrowed features, okay, or the sources of Indian constitution. Okay, yes. See, the Government of India Act of 1935, it is considered as the largest source of our Indian constitution. Okay, we have borrowed certain features from various countries. Okay, we have seen what all we have borrowed. Okay, from Britain. Okay, this is the map, this is the road map to Indian constitution. Okay, I will be telling you the important aspects which we have borrowed. Let's focus on that. Okay, the first one is Britain. What we have borrowed from Britain? We have borrowed the parliamentary system from Britain. Okay, what is parliamentary system? Which includes both center and state. Okay, which simply means the cabinet government or the prime ministerial type of government. Okay, and also the law making procedure, the procedure which is established by law. This thing also we have borrowed it from Britain constitution. Okay, then the next thing is USA. Okay, the idea of fundamental rights which fall under part 3 of our Indian constitution, from article 12 to article 35, fundamental rights. Okay, which are granted to each and every citizen of India. This idea of fundamental rights, we have borrowed it from USA. Okay, besides this, we have also borrowed the judicial review. Okay, like if high court has failed to deliver a verdict in your favor, then you have the right to approach the Supreme Court of India. Right, this is what do you understand by judicial review. Okay, and also the Supreme Commander of Armed Forces, the President as the Supreme Commander of Armed Forces. This idea also we have adopted it from United States of America. If you see the oath taking ceremony of any army officer, okay, they will repeat a term that I shall forever obey the orders of President. Okay, this is what you understand by Supreme Commander of Armed Forces. And also equal protection under law. Article 14 of our Indian Constitution, we have borrowed this idea, this funda from United States of America. Okay, next moving forward to Australia, we have borrowed the freedom of trade and commerce within the country. Okay, like if you reside in Maharashtra, you can trade in Gujarat. If you reside in Gujarat, you can trade in Kanyakumari. Okay, the freedom to trade and commerce within the country. Okay, we have borrowed this feature from Australian Constitution. Okay, not only this, but also the power distribution between state and center, we have borrowed it from Australian Constitution. Okay, and the next country is France. I am covering only the important ones. Here I have given you the map. You can refer if you want anything else. Okay, from France we have borrowed the quasi-federal form of government. What is quasi-federal form of government? Okay, quasi-federal form of government, it simply means that a federal system with a strong central government. We have already seen what do you understand by federal government. Okay, it simply means parliamentary government. Okay, quasi-federal means a federal system with a strong central government, which means the central government will have more number of powers, more rights. Okay, more rights with them. We have borrowed this idea from French Constitution. Okay, yes. And the next, some other constitutional powers which we have borrowed are emergency provisions. Okay, emergency provisions, we have borrowed this from Germany. Okay, the article 356, okay, which happens to be the president's rule, and the article 365, which is what? Which is the national emergency. 356 and 365. This emergency provisions, we have borrowed it from Germany Constitution. Okay, and the amendments. Okay, the amendments, the idea of amendments, we have borrowed it from South African Constitution. What is amendment? Amendment, it simply means that if you want to add or if you want to delete any certain laws in in your constitution, then you need to amend the constitution. That is known as amendment. If you want to add or if you want to delete anything, it is known as amendment. We have borrowed this feature from South Africa. Okay, and from Japan, we have borrowed the due procedure of law. What is due procedure of law? Due procedure of law means, if suppose if you are filing a public interest litigation in Supreme Court, PIL in Supreme Court, okay, it is nowhere written that the verdict will be delivered on that same day. Okay, which means you might have heard the dialogue, तारीख पे तारीख, तारीख पे तारीख, very famous dialogue. Okay, this is due procedure of law, which means अगर आप आज एक PIL फॉर्म फाइल कर रहे हो, देन उसका ये ज़रूरी नहीं कि उसका वर्डिक्ट आज ही आए. ओके, उसका वर्डिक्ट कभी भी आ सकता है. ओके, दिस इज व्हाट डू अंडरस्टैंड बाय ड्यू प्रोसीजर ऑफ लॉ. ओके, दिस वेर some borrowed features of our Indian constitution. Okay, this was today's lecture on the basics of Indian polity. We have covered what is a government, we have seen what is polity, what is politics, we have seen why is it important to study polity, we have seen the types and forms of government. Okay, we have seen the history of Indian constitution, we have seen what is Indian constitution, we have studied what is preamble. Okay, this is all about the basics of Indian constitution. I hope everything is clear, your basics are clear. Please keep revising, keep working, and I am sure you all will achieve where you want to be. You all will achieve your goal. Okay, take care, we'll meet in our next session. Jai Hind.